Howdy, Shredder Nation. All right, I'm going to draw you a little doodle. I'm going to talk fast, just trying to lay the framework of what these different phases in ER Shred look like. So first and foremost, an individual starts out. We're just going to put that face because we don't know. Are they happy? Are they sad? Are they... We're not going to paint them as anything other than maybe indifferent. But we're going to go ahead here, and we're going to start here on our timeline. And this initial 2 weeks is going to be 2 weeks. It's going to be shake and steak. The meats, the fats, and the incubate shakes. From that point forward, there's going to be a veer in the road, and it's going to kind of depend on what you ordered and how you wanted to approach this. If you wanted to approach this with the cleanse days as part of your initial baseline, you're going to veer up here now, and for 11 days, we're just going to write 11-day elimination, put ERS, elimination reset shred right there, okay? Now, if you opted to not do cleanse days, you will do another full week right here. 1 week additional shake. I'll just put S and S, shake and steak. Now, this person up here ordered an ER, what they call a shred pack. That'll work. And this person down here ordered what we're calling a steak and shake, or a shake and steak pack. All right. Now, these individuals, believe it or not, they end up on the exact same path after that initial 3 weeks. We're calling this entire initial 3-week period of time baseline. Baseline. Whether you do cleanse days or not, 3 weeks ideally of this baseline, 3 weeks is going to help you get down to a foundation, and it's going to get you off all the junk and putting in the good. But what's critical is that this phase is where we start from. And if you can adhere to this phase, the better you do, the more able you're going to be able to get to a baseline and build from there. I'm going to explain what you'll be building next. This phase could be referred to as push back. You have pushed back against everything you thought you knew. You push back against everything you were taught, and you have pushed back against old habits that weren't serving you and foods that were causing you pain. Pretty simple stuff. All right. Now we move on to the next phase. This phase, I'm going to entitle it Taking Back Control. Take back control. How do we do it? Well, keep in mind, some individuals may want to stick with foundational shake and steak for a little while longer than 3 weeks, and that's fine. It's up to the individual. Depends on how they feel. Depends on, a lot of things that they can take into consideration, and we don't need to go into all of that here. But bottom line is, those individuals that want to move beyond baseline, they will begin to build their own unique, intuitive, dietary blueprint. Okay? And this is really an incredible frame of time. There's going to be a lot of ebb and flow. There's going to be a lot of trial and error. But this is the phase where you learn your instincts. This is the phase where you learn to feel, and you might not have ever learned that your entire life. By getting down to a baseline, it's like hard resetting a computer. And you're now able to start with a clean, well-functioning operating system, and you can begin to reinstall different softwares and see if they are helping your computer or harming. And this is when you begin to add foods, preferably whole foods, individually on an ongoing basis, and build upon that and make your own unique dietary blueprint. this phase is essential to get to the next phase. And this phase, we don't know how long you'll be in that. It could vary. You could revisit phases here, and you could move on to the next and say, I'm not quite ready for that, and move back. Same here. You could be here and toying with all kinds of different foods and building your blueprint. And if you suddenly feel like I want to go back to baseline for a minute, there's no reason you couldn't or shouldn't. But this next phase right here is what we call shredder lifestyle. And I got to draw my person with a nice smiley face. This is a person who has learned a lot, a person who's gained empowerment. They've gained their freedom. We're going to call this phase freedom, empowerment. Now, in this phase, everything all along the line is foundationally shake and stake. It's new meets old. It's, the primitive way of eating coupled with modern day scientific advances that serve us in the way of practicality, affordability. There's just so many benefits to doing it the way we're doing it, and that's why it's been such a movement and such a viral thing. And it's exciting to see that people see it the way we see it and that it's become a lifestyle for others. So at this point, you know your blueprint. You've gained your freedom. You know your empowerment. You know what you should and shouldn't eat. You know to what extent you can tolerate certain foods, what quantity, when. You've learned so much about yourself. And, again, when you get there, I don't know that I've even arrived there, but we're getting there, and there's a little room for indulgence at this point. You know what things will do what to you, and you know how often and how much you can tolerate that. But ideally, you've come to a place where you say, I feel optimal when I'm doing my blueprint, and I don't stray far from that. And when I do, I quickly get back because that's when I feel the best. And in this, we will be doing 11-day ER shreds, traditional, with the cleanse days, 2 consecutive, seasonally with the solstice. They'll be sprinkled in, one about every 3 months. And we encourage everyone to do those, but if you don't want to, you don't have to. And, maybe instead you could do 11 days of just strict shake and stake and, just to refresh the baseline and build upon from there. So I hope everybody's excited about this. I hope this is all beginning to make sense. It's pushback in baseline. It's take back control, building the intuitive dietary blueprint. It's freedom and empowerment. And this is all born truly from the awareness that was gained in the baseline phase and in the intuitive phase. All the awareness gained from that is truly what creates your freedom.